Have you ever wished that you had a master floral designer that you could have stand beside you step by step and teach you the process of floral design? My name is Kirby Holt. I'm a master floral designer with more than 25 years of experience in the business, and I want to show you step by step how to create beautiful floral designs with the kits from myfloraldesign.com. I hope you enjoy this video and this series. I love orchids for their beauty, for their simplicity, and for their elegance. And a beautiful orchid can stand all on its own, and that's what we're going to use today for the feature of this arrangement is a beautiful green Vanda orchid spray, and we're going to create an arrangement around it really just to accentuate the orchid. To begin, I'm going to use these river cane or bamboo sticks to create just maybe a support. Often we will use bamboo or river cane with fresh orchids or orchid plants to support them and allow them to grow on them. So that's what we're going to do with this today, is just mimic that. I love to use things that we do in nature or things that we normally would do in gardening in arrangements, permanent arrangements, and it gives more authenticity to those arrangements and fools the eye, makes us think they're real. So you want to give some steady pressure to that. They're pretty tough, but occasionally they will split. Now, I haven't used hot glue on these. You may want to, on some of your designs, take your glue gun and just put a dab of hot glue. You could do that at the bottom of a river cane or the orchid, but when you put them in and get them in about an inch and a half deep into that foam, they're not going to fall out with or without the glue. So I'm stripping just a little bit of this plastic away. That exposes that there are 3 wires here. One of them is kind of lightweight. I'm going to clip it off, and I think we're going to go with the white covered one. We'll clip these other 2 off, and that way I can bend that hairpin bend into it, and that will allow me to really insert that real deep into this arrangement, and the hairpin really keeps it from swiveling around, and it'll stand up exactly the way I want it to stand. And then I'm going to just pull that moss back around again. Now, to base this in, I have this bush of eucalyptus. I'm going to cut that apart. And I love the eucalyptus texture. I love that light green color that varies. It works really well to create a nice basing for this beautiful green orchid. And instead of dispersing that all the way through, I'm just going to put a couple of little clusters together here. Do that again here, leaving a hole there. Then I will come to the side, do that again here and here. And then on the back side we have one more. I'm going to put that in. And then I have 3 pieces of grass, and they have a nice little amount of wire. You may have to push it up just a little bit, but you want to get it at least a ½ inch, maybe a little more, to press into the foam so that it will stay, because if that grass comes down too close to the edge, you'll definitely want to put a little spot of hot glue there to keep it from falling out. But now I've created just a little bit of grass right around the bottom, and while we don't have that orchid foliage, we have lots of other pretty foliages that work well to finish off the base of that arrangement. Now, I want to use a few of these stems of birch. It's a manufactured birch, so you have that wire. I always like to use branches that have some wire in them. That way we can shape them and get them to go where we want them to. And bringing this away from the bamboo or the river cane just a little bit, and getting a little bit of a bow, it kind of frames the outside edges of the arrangement, really almost encasing the orchid and the river cane in almost like a veil of branches. I'm not going to put one right on the front of the orchid. I'll turn this where I've done that one on the back so you can kind of see how I have brought it away and then bent it or bowed it back in. And I'm going to take this last one and put it here on the front, but a little bit to the side of the orchid because I don't want it hiding the orchid. So So we get that nice strong grouping of those branches coming up and creating a nice frame around the orchid and the bamboo. Now to finish it off, I have a little container of, or bag of succulents. And you'll see that we have already put picks on these for you, and there's a sharp blade there, so you want to be careful with the way you handle them and not get them get that blade on your fingers. It'll cut you if you aren't careful. So, and some of these will kind of rest in a little bit low, and then some of the others will come up a little bit higher, so that you end up with different levels inside the arrangement. So I'm just going to continue placing those. Some of them are kind of tucked in low, just like they're growing. Always want to be aware of how things are in nature, and that often in nature we will have things growing at different levels. So we're kind of tucking these succulents in low at the bottom. I'm going to give this a turn so you can see how I'm putting them on the back. So we've really created a lot of depth down in the design with those succulents and filled in the base of it. All right. And so what we have finished up with is still the Vanda orchid is the feature, and it's the primary focal emphasis of this arrangement, but by using the river cane, the branches, the grasses, and the foliages at the bottom, we've really framed and made this orchid very important. One of the things I love about an arrangement like this, it works well in almost any room. Almost any room can use the browns and the greens because they're neutrals and they work in almost any style of decorating. An orchid is effective in almost any situation. It's also a good gift idea because this kind of gift can be used in a lot of different places in the home or in a business or a commercial setting. Hope you've enjoyed this, and will join us again on myfloraldesign.com for more demonstrations of floral design. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. I encourage you to browse the library of arrangements and videos on our website, myfloraldesign.com.